Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about graphing lines. So the lines we're going to practice graphing today are in the form y equals mx plus b, or y is equal to ax plus b, depending on how your teacher taught them to you. In this case, either a or m represents the slope of the line and should be in a fraction. So if it's a whole number, you want to make sure you're changing it to a fraction. Whereas b represents the y-intercept. That word intercept means to cross. So the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So here are some steps. Make sure you have these down so that you can kind of go through step by step if you're having trouble graphing lines. So first step is plot the y-intercept. So find whatever b is and use that to put a point on the y-axis. If b is positive, then you would go up that amount, put a dot. If b is negative, you would go down that amount and put a dot. So that's step one. After you do that, you want to identify the slope. So find whatever number's in the a or m position, and if it is a fraction, identify what the rise and the run are. If it's an integer, write it as being over 1. So if it were y equals 2x plus 5, first step would be to go up 5, make a dot, and then change 2 to be 2 over 1, where the top number is how much you're going to rise, and the bottom number is how much you're going to run. Now you're going to use the slope to plot 2 more points. Like I said, numerator is the rise, denominator, the bottom, is the run. So if the slope is negative, only one of those is negative, not both. And you can also go in the opposite for the same line. For example, if the slope is 2 over 2, you can go rise 2 and run 2. But you can also do the opposite of both, meaning you can fall 2 and go back 2. So those are the steps for graphing lines. And if you are confused about these, let me know. Let's look at an example. So if we have to graph y is equal to 2x plus 3, so the first step would be to find 3 and plot a point right there as your y-intercept. Then you want to change 2 into a fraction. So that means our rise over run is 2 over 1 because our slope is 2. So from where we were, we're going to rise 2, run 1, put another dot. And you can do as many of those as you want to. Technically, you only need 2, but I think it's a good idea to do at least 3 to make sure you've got the right placing for everything. You could also do the opposite. So instead of rising 2 and running 1, you could fall 2 and go back 1, and that would be on the same line. So again, those steps: plot y equals 3, change the slope into a fraction, rise 2, run 1, fall 2, go back 1 to make another dot, and then connect the points. Now there are situations when y equals mx plus b is quote-unquote hiding, when it's not already in the proper form for you to graph. So you might need to solve for y. For example, in some cases, if you're asked to graph 4y is equal to negative 3x minus 12, in that case, you would need to undo everything around y to get a lone. So right now next to y is multiplying by 4. To undo that, you'd have to divide by 4. This just says the same thing. Since you divide one side by 4, you have to divide the other side by 4 as well. That's the multiplication division property. So if we take the left-hand side and divide it by 4, we have to divide both things on the right by 4 as well. So 4y over 4 is equal to negative 3x over 4 minus 12 over 4. So continuing this, we're going to simplify the fractions. Don't be afraid to reduce them. So then we get 4y over 4 is just plain y. Negative 3x over 4 is negative 3/4 x. And 12 over 4 is 3. So it's y is equal to negative 3/4 x minus 3. Okay, so there we go. There's our lesson on graphing lines. We're going to continue next by talking about how to do a basic construction. The first construction that we're going to look at is going to be finding the perpendicular bisector of a line segment. We're going to be using delta math for that, and I'll be using delta math for my example as well. So hopefully that'll work out pretty well for you. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And yeah, have a great day.